PhDs or like early PhDs, and then I was a bit like, oh, I think this is not my vibe.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like I find early career stuff hit and miss these days. Actually, I don't know if you guys get the same thing.
It's different. Sometimes they consider early career by age or by the years of after your PhD, and it's variable. Like sometimes they consider 5 years, sometimes 10 years. So it's like it's not easy.
In the US, it's pretty consistent that as long as you're an assistant professor, you're definitely still considered early career, at least in academia. But they do often put 10 years since you obtained your PhD, which now is pretty close to when you might become a tenured associate professor in the US. And
no, it's quite crazy, right? How long you've got to do all this stuff for before you actually get like a secure permanent job.
Yeah, and it's also like you know you're still early career when you get reviews back that are like, well, for an early career researcher, this is well written. And you're like, hello.
Thank you and goodbye.
Like
that's what I say.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I'm gonna take your review with a grain of salt. So yeah, I think
So now.
yeah, there was mostly, I was one of the few professors even on our cruises. So we had two or three full professors, and then everyone was assistant professor or lower, mostly postdocs or research associates and students. So this should be the 5th one that's long, I think, right? So,
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, basically it's 5 through 11 are the geology course, plus 3.
Okay.
So after this, you want for 12 onwards, we want to do them with water on top?
Yes.
Yeah.
For 12 on water on top.
Okay. So 6 I put right now because 6 and 7 long, 5, 8 and 9, 10 and 11 shorter. What's later?
Thank you.
Because otherwise I will forget.
And you said to log these once they're coming out?
Yeah, once they're coming out in case they have to retake it.
Okay.
And we did the geology ones first, so I know sometimes she gets gets a different one because the biology ones were taken first.
Wow. So,
Fish color party.
it's the best part.
Yeah.
How much water do you want there?
Like,
A little bit deeper. Let's aim for about there for most of them. Yeah. I don't think they. Yeah, they just have to be at least 10 centimeters deep and have at least 3 centimeters of water. So. I think the next shift is going to be disappointed that they weren't here for the push course.
oh, yeah. Definitely.
Sorry, we got to the waypoint before your shift. Looks like there's going to be a lot of rock, like cliffs coming up after we do the push coring.
I think they will not do it.
Go up a cliff, back down, and even deeper, steeper, probably. Back up.
Push core effect. I'm thinking about breakfast.
I'm not hungry.
Maritza. Oh, yes.
I did think that after not really sleeping during my very small sleep window, that I could have like been quite content to wake up to Ben's waffles, but it was too late. Already off.
Are we talking about breakfast?
Maritza started it.
Maritza. Reina. Por favor. Yeah, no, my daily aim is to go to bed before breakfast, but every day it kind of just escalates.
We don't have anyone.
Yeah, I'm contemplating trying to take a power nap before the ROV comes up. I was originally gonna go work out again, but
I was close to that yesterday at like 5 o'clock in the morning, but then I thought, no.
Absolutely.
Well, no, I was like, oh, I'm really up for it. I'm just so awake. But then I was like, no, if I do that, then I don't know when I'd fall asleep. So, yeah. But I'd say if you want to, I could like wake you up at 6:30 or whatever if you want to go sleep for a bit. If you're scared of folks sleeping.
yeah, I'm pretty good at waking up to my alarm. It's just,
That's good.
you know, I'm a little worried that if I go to sleep, then I might just feel a little bit worse. But
That could happen. Yeah, I'm so bad at waking up. Like, I think half the ship has now heard my alarm, so I apologize if anyone in this room has experienced. First time Laura heard them, you know, my cabin maid. She thought there was evacuation going on.
oh no.
I have like 3 really rowdy, sinister alarms that just keep going off, and sometimes I just keep sleeping through them, you know?
Evacuation alarm.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Today I couldn't, in part couldn't sleep because there was someone walking on the floor above. It sounded like someone just stomping their way through. Like, what? Walk gently.
So, for those asking, we have 20 push cores on the vehicle right now. I think you could, in theory, actually fit more, but that would be sacrificing some of the biological boxes, etc.
Sacrificer?
Actually, I think they're capped with they don't have enough pieces to convert the quivers to cores.
Okay.
I think we might have been limited by that, but Andy can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, yeah.
Can't wait.
Maybe they could have put a few more on, but okay.
I would like to use this correctly.
Yes, because you're not interested in any push cores, right, Anna? You're not.
Me? I love a push core.
You love a push core.
I really
That's
love.
excellent.
Deeply.
Me too. Hence I'm getting 7 this morning. It's gonna be really good workout. Erin, I think you should start coming to the hangar to help you with push cores, and then you won't need to ever go to the gym again. It's funny.
I have sliced many a core. Yeah, I actually, my first expedition ever, we were doing multi-cores for my PhD. It was my PhD work. I was doing my master's at the time. But yeah, we sent the multi-core down, and I sorted many samples looking for harpacticoid copepods.
And that sounds like exactly the kind of the right person that I need. Very experienced.
I did granulometry, and now my students, my students are done with all their collection and just wrapping up their analyses now. But yeah, we did hand push cores in an estuary by our university. It's a hypersaline estuary, so we're conducting the first analysis of the meiofauna in that estuary right now. But they did most of the. I showed them how to slice the cores, and then they took it from there. Yeah.
That's quite
But
cool.
yeah, no, we still do some coring work for sure in my lab. It's easier to do it coastal. It doesn't cost as much money to get out there and get the samples. So, yeah.
Next time I go on a cruise, I really want to deploy this like giant casting core. So there's a emeritus professor in my department in the university, and he's got one of these guys that is like a really big square barrel, and you can basically have like many subcores from one big fat thing of sediment.
Nice.
And potentially, he said I could borrow it for this cruise, but I just didn't want the responsibility. I didn't have the money to like.
Mary, you gave us an overview?
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Am I meant to be taking a picture? Do I need to take a picture?
No.
No, there'll be an A-snap of it.
Okay.
I don't think
No,
it's
but,
not written in the
but
protocol.
It's already done, so
Yeah.
Okay.
no problem.
So now I start logging with it. Put them in.
Yep.
Yeah, that is important. I mean,
Now's the time.
get consent focus, please.
Pay attention. Stop talking.
Oh my.
Yeah, we usually respond to your questions. We don't usually do a lot of as many written responses. That's less frequent. That's push cord 20. TC 642.
I'm now really looking forward to my third dinner of the day.
Right after shift ends.
Exactly. 18 minutes.
Oh.
It might be right around the time we're finishing the coring. See, 6:43.
I can't be. The answer is yes.
Correct. Full marks.
A long life.
17, CUTC 644. Fish wants
What
to.
happened?
The
A
fish is trying to
biosample?
get in under the push core. I'll just log the
Biosample.
fish as a push core. Perfect. You have a rocky fish and a pushy fish.
That would be very easy to find in the sea life.
Erin will be so happy with me tomorrow at the science meeting. I'll get a long lecture.
I don't know why. I gave one. Please.
Very long telling off at the science meeting.
Please log things correctly for the corals. One time. They never had to be addressed again. But Savette is obsessed with it. And I didn't direct it. I said it was general. I didn't even know who did it. I didn't even
wasn't
look.
me, I told
okay,
you.
well there you go. See, I don't know who did it.
It was before we did any of our ROV shifts actually, so it's definitely not me.
Oh yeah, that would be true.
Because we didn't have any for a while, right?
We didn't. Yeah, we were in
Until
a
they changed the
mission
schedule.
control drought.
I quite like this shift. I think it's more fun than my previous shift now, because now I do this 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Woo!
Countdown.
It's the final countdown. And no, I'm not going to continue. I feel like Maritza, you might be good at singing.
No.
No, absolutely not.
Where are we at right now? That's a good question. We're right around 73 west and 73 south. I don't know the exact coordinates right now, but
Very similar. Okay.
yeah, so we're in the Rhone entrance essentially of Antarctica. Pretty much at like the southwestern point of that bay.
This is 14, right?
Yes.
Anna?
Yeah, this is 14 and I
He's
think
doing them all in order.
he did them in order, okay, because that one looks like it says 13 but on it, but it was a 15. Okay.
Sorry, so which one is this?
This one was 14 that just went in. It's just a little confusing because that one says 13 on it.
There's 2.
There's 2 13s. Okay.
That would be easy then.
Someone here really likes Friday the 13th.
Okay.
There's a lot of fish in this area whilst we're doing push cores.
And then the other 13.
So this is actual 13.
Yeah. This is like solid 13. The other one's just outline 13.
Okay, now
They're making a 3 and a 5 with
the last one.
Yeah, so.
And then it's beta.
Yeah, so these are all bios.
Can we put it in the group chat, like my course, in
Yeah.
the ROV thing, so people don't take
Yeah,
them
and then
in
I
case
already put
yeah.
your-
So I've had that problem a few times, and then they complain. They think the push core is broken, that's why it's longer. And I'm like, no, it's longer because I want more sediment. Give me a couple of hours to sleep, please.
Yeah, I'm also writing all the bio ones on here, and I'm gonna put your name on
Yeah.
in all
No,
of
I think
these.
it's just the initial.
But yeah, we can definitely put in the chat. It's basically
I'm logging twice.
3 and then
I mean, it's a big
7. Yeah.
I have to do Maritza and this is yours.
It's mine.
Yes.
And I thought it was Maritza's job.
Maritza is big at this one, but I can do it. So you can keep talking.
You're like, I just don't want to talk. I was filling all the paperwork. It was number 11.
That's 4.
that was 9.
Is it 9? Okay. Well,
9. Because they are trying to keep
Okay.
the same position.
thanks. I thought it was a 4. 9 UTC.
9 is yours.
It was 9. And this is Sveta's.
This is 10.
This is 10. UTC 650. as it can.
Wait, which one is this? I really can't see.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Just making sure they're in there good so you don't lose your sediment on the way up. UTC 651. This is number 11 coming in.
Yeah,
Number
it's
11?
11. Yeah, it's yours.
Alright. So, done.
That's right.
Yeah, yesterday I was hungry for rocks. Today I'm feeling really greedy for the sediment.
Said 8 to 22 for you. 8 to 11.
How you describe the push cores as juicy.
Oh,
Good.
I think it's so juicy that it's fine.
Which core was that one?
5.
5. Do you want to retake in Sveta or is it fine?
I can't really see.
It's solid.
Yeah, it looks okay still, right? I
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah,
I think it's
okay.
fine.
It'll be really hard to get
You
all
wanna
that
know
out.
it?
Yeah.
On this?
Just
Huh?
checking sometimes
Yeah, I'm
they.
just gonna make a note of this for later. But it looks okay, like, regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, those do look so full. You know, these full ones, like, I'm happy I get the sediment, but they definitely require some power to really get that top thing out. They're, like, so vacuumed in. Which one is this? 6?
It's just 5.
This is 5. Oh.
We are trying to put the emphasis and I cannot see them.
Oh, that piece here is going to tell me off about the push cores. This is 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is 6. also a lot of like logging.
Okay.
It is, I've even stopped talking.
I know.
Maybe
Like,
if we had more push cores in our shifts.
That'd be anything to do.
and then it would be like super boring.
Was
You know,
that
if
7
we weren't
she's gone
talking
in?
so much.
No, 6.
Oh, that's
That was
6.
6.
Okay, yeah, I've done that
Yeah.
one. It's just hard to see from this view. Have it here.
This is.
I know, but it's like, look at that camera, you can really see much better what's going on.
This is.
Yeah, no, it's sometimes hard to see the numbers from here.
Because 8 is there.
Yeah.
And they are
This-
going to
yeah,
put
this
in
is
northern,
7.
So.
See Tom, Professor Tom was in the room, and he's volunteered to help with some sediment extruding this morning.
That
For all
would
of
be
these lovely bad boys.
Yeah, you sure you needed all of those? You could look at It's just greedy, really.
It's number 8.
Yeah. The last
That's
one.
number 8.
Perfect.
There we go. 17 push
I
cores
need that
complete.
Our job here is done.
I don't think any of us have done it in order yet. That's the first.
Yeah, no, nice
Oh
job.
my.
Nice.
Much appreciated. Makes a lot of my life easier writing it all down for the annotations. For
Okay,
sure.
I wrote also here. Maybe some next series.
Okay,
And
perfect.
then I wrote.
Pedro is next shift actually, and he's, I guess, the other guy's doing the course, so hopefully he reads the notes because he sits there.
But I will communicate, don't worry.
One of the
Okay.
notes, what do we need to know?
Make sure I get the course full of
The
sediment.
list.
That's what she was.
And I will
It's in the chat now as well.
And they shouldn't want them anyway, because that's the support service layer. Isn't
No.
it? Everyone's happy when they get their own course.
Correct.
Yep.
But twice now I've been asleep when the ROV comes up, and both times I've got the wrong course.
Alright, well, I guess we're into transect mode. And, what now?
Bag?
I don't think they usually take the bag in the same place, do they?
Yeah, we can do
I
that.
don't-
You got the bag here?
Oh yeah, it's one of your samples, so yeah.
Yeah, it's
Give
better
it
to
10
leave
minutes and you
to.
can pick.
Yeah, Pedro will do it, Tom.
Yeah,
Because they know
yeah.
that's where-
I was gonna say I didn't think they wanted it where the push cores were taken, but
It seems like you can jump right into
no, let's go
That's
in,
where
let's
they
go
want
in
it.
transit. Yeah, let's go in transit
Maybe they
because
don't.
they're gonna be on shift in a couple minutes.
Yeah, yeah, so they can choose for themselves, but it makes sense to me that we try somewhere else.
Yeah, if not, they just need to add. They'll have to add it.
Because I can.
They're watching. So,
That's these little donut guys.
so
Let's hope Pedro comes soon, otherwise Professor Tom will be here alone.
It's coming, it's coming.
yeah, I can go ahead and give you the update while we're. Yeah, we're.
Very good fish this
Alright, so we're doing a science party change now. We're over the next few minutes, so you'll hear some noise in the background. The ROV pilot should also be changing out, I believe. So you'll hear some noise and transferring of information. Yeah. Done and done. We didn't really collect anything to speak of other than the push cores and rocks during our shift. We picked up one pink rock and we're on the search for another one to like highlight.
Specifically the pink ones?
Yeah, I guess Andres was super excited about that. It's like
Okay.
volcanic origin and different than some of the others. We got kind of a blue-gray one and we got a pink one. Most of these are available. We got the sea cucumbers check-in done. All the push cores are done. We did, yeah, we're coming up to some really interesting features, so maybe there'll be some other corals and stuff. They have 3 of those yellow acanthogorgids, so, and 1 of the mushroom coral. So, if you see anything that looks interesting, great, wonderful.
Corals are probably what I'm worst at, but do you think you've got a good range? Is it just don't see anything unusual?
If you see anything
Cockroach.
different, like if you're just seeing the yellow ones, I think we have enough of the yellow ones.
Okay.
So, but if you see like a white one or something you haven't seen yet, any chance, then just go ahead and pick it up. But I think I'll be around in a week, so I'll probably be able to spot something. And
Teresa got her holothurians. Did she do that at the start?
Yep,
Okay.
we did that shortly before this, and this was where the push cores were indicated, and you can see in the features there that it's like a huge, and it's going to be deeper. So, yeah, and everything is additional waypoints, so you really just need to make it to waypoint 10, and everything else is bonus after that.
Okay, so we're just shopping really. We've done all the have-tos. Oh, except the
Yep.
Psychos.
Pretty much all the have-tos, and just keep your eyes for, wish list things.
Nice. Thank you. Have a good night.
Here, I'll clean out this trash.
Good deed.
Oh, actually, there's still chocolate in that one. So leave that there.
Looks like the other that was the waypoint.
You see the kind of whitey pink rocks. Just like zoom into some pictures, because I think we collected a couple of, I think, just like nice.
I think I want to grab one away from here.
If they are small.
Only if they're small, yeah.
They are tiny.
Drop out my fish.
No, definitely not. You can put here.
Station number, this thing. Station number.
Okay.
Otherwise,
What is your
It looks like it's pretty good chance. Okay, so reserve the 4 because that's on the
yeah,
way
but
up.
I want to be sure that I will be there, but I want to be sure that probably not that much.
Okay. But definitely a rocky one. Should we, I think if we're going to head to a pretty rocky area, should we hold out for like a good plenty of them? I think we're going to get
Yeah,
into the
if
time.
you can, that'd be nice.
Yeah, no problem. We'll do it
Thank
before we
you.
do anything else. No disturbance, no sediment.
And then they ask for polychaetes, isopod, and mollusk because we couldn't actually collect a lot because we were in video transit and then in transect for video and then.
Could we zoom in on that fish? Just while we're idling. Oh, never mind, she's off.
Good luck.
Let's have a good night.
Thank you.
We got enough room. Continue with our transit.
Okay.
Want to know if you fancied a sucking to in this area?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Hello, my name is Pedro Martinez. I am a marine biology from Spain, living in Germany. I'm working at the Senckenberg Institute in Wilhelmshaven, and I'm a professor for marine biology at the University of Oldenburg in Germany.
And good morning, I'm Tom Lindley. I am a fish person. I'm a curator of fishes at the National Museum of New Zealand, Te Papa Tongawerra. And if my voice sounds familiar, I'm also that guy from the BBC podcast. Oh, lovely swimming holothurian. Good morning, welcome along to the dive. We're probably the last shift in this dive. It looks like all the have-tos have been done. I've been given a few wish list items just before we wrap up, but I think we're mainly exploring now. There's a few wish list animals, mollusks, polychaetes, and isopods, like slaters, like
We see at the bottom a lot of scallops. We see some shells, and there is also some umbellula. This is very One is coming, it's a coral with a very long stalk. Sometimes they get about 1 meter high. And we see that there is another polyp, an anemone, growing on this stalk exactly. We got a zoom in on that one.
It's caused a little bit of a kink in the stem.
Yeah, I wonder. I never saw that. So maybe it's there for years.
Yeah. Wonder if that's a burden. There's some interesting symbiosis with anemones. There's one type that lives on hermit crab shells, and it's a great place to live because hermit crabs are really messy eaters, so they just have to drag their tentacles behind the hermit crab and they pick up all its leftover food. But the problem with hermit crabs is they outgrow their shell and then have to find a new one, and the sea anemone really doesn't want that. So there's one beautiful stenophore.
Stenophore, yes.
Yeah.
on the bottom.
So this particular type of sea anemone actually continues to grow the shell of the hermit crab, so it doesn't need to look for a new one. So it's great defense for the crab, and it also means the crab doesn't have to look for a new shell, and it's cleaning up the scraps from the messy eating crab. So that's a good bit of symbiosis. We're coming up on this rock wall. Did you want to grab the second tour before we head to a rocky area?
Maybe we pass it when we passed it.
Yeah, when we go up and over?
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe we can find a small rock for the geologist. Let's see.
Yeah. We've been given a challenge. Whitey pink rock. They may have been up too long, they may have been hallucinating, but...
Is this a special rock that they're looking for?
Yeah, they think it's volcanic in origin.
Ah, okay.
Could we zoom in on this fish?
Yeah.
I think it's just a notothenoid. There's the one with a nice spot on the dorsal fin. Oh, that's great, thank you. That should hopefully be enough to ID. There's a million of them though. I'm afraid I don't know off the top of my head.
At the side, the sediment is covered with very little pebbles, gravels. This is unusual, but we find this also in the dive yesterday. That there's very lot of very little black pebbles. We need to ask our colleagues how this can originate. Maybe this is because that is breaking the drop stones. I don't know really.
It's very consistent size, isn't it?
Yeah,
We
it
see
is.
quite irregular drop stones, but then this gravel seems to be about the same. According to our map, we're climbing quite a steep ridge right now, and then we'll end up in another depression which has probably collected sediment. Might have some interesting things for us.
Here we see this very long Nemertini, ribbon worms, the white one, large, and we see also the traces, the trace that this is leaving behind it. These worms are predators, so they have also, some of them have a little spine or stylet that where they can inject some venom, some toxin, and paralyze the victim, I would say.
Whoa. They've left a really straight trail. I thought some of those were iceberg scours, but
Yeah, it seems
I think
that-
it's the worms.
Yeah. Here we see a crinoid at the bottom. So, scallop shells. And what is that? It's the holothurian?
We have a little look what's going on there. It's a mixed bag. Something with a couple of coral, couple of sponges on the back of it. don't know what the substrate is there. Is it wood?
It could be from a sponge, the skeleton, so like a dead sponge. Maybe we can try to collect this. Do we have any space left?
Yes, we do. We have plenty of space if you'd like to.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe we
it's an
can try-
interesting little habitat. Do you think we'd be able to pick up that unusual looking thing? There's another dropstone covered in life in the background.
Let's see which consistency it has. Maybe it's not so hard as we believe.
Yeah, sometimes it helps just to give things a poke. We'll see how dense it is. It might just disappear into a cloud. Well, we wait for the dust to clear. It's story time. I used to work in an aquarium, and we had a huge anemone in one of the tanks, and it had sort of changed colour a little bit and gone a bit still. And we were cleaning out the tank one of the days, and we just happened to brush against it. And it turned out it had been dead for ages, and just the shape of it had been held by its mucus, essentially. So just bumping into it, it just burst into this cloud of foul-smelling stuff. So yeah, sometimes you reveal things by giving them a poke, and sometimes you regret it. Very still again. These last two sites have had almost no current flow.
Yeah. Maybe there is more currents at the bottom than in it was elevated areas, which is a little bit counterintuitive. But it may be. We are now at 613 meters. Here, where the place that we are located now, there is a big depression going down up to 1,200 meters. So we are in a relatively shallow area here.
Such fine sediment. I think it's been settling here over a very, very long time.
So where could we put this?
Oh.
Maybe in the...
We've got plenty of room. We've got nothing in the bio boxes that's going to want to escape.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, we've got plenty of options. Right, while we're waiting for this to clear, more stories from the aquarium. We used to get lots of larval things coming in with the lava rock and the live rock in the marine tanks, and they'd come in just as babies, and then they'd get themselves sort of under the filter of the tank and sort of nestled away. So every now and then you'd have to give the tank a full clear out. And if it had been a long time, they'd all got rather big, and it was murky water once you were cleaning it out, so you wouldn't see what you were putting your hand into. So there was lobsters and bobbit worms, those ones with the big gnashing jaws. Yeah, it was a fun job. The bobbit worms are quite a pain, and I think there was a aquarium in the UK that had to set up a webcam because they couldn't tell where their fish were going. And it turned out that after hours every day when the lights were off, this huge predatory worm would come out of the rockwork and start eating their fish. And then there was another aquarium when they figured out it was an octopus. So smart that it left its aquarium, went into a neighbouring aquarium, ate the fish, and then went back home.
Smart.
too smart. They're too clever. Start to clear enough for us to focus. So what caught our eye here is this little community growing on, well, what used to be something else. It looked a bit woody for a moment, but I think Pedro might be right. I think it might have once upon a time been a sponge.
This is glass sponges, so they have a skeleton made of glass filaments actually. Silicium oxide. And it might be a dead sponge that is leaving the skeleton there and then recolonized by other organisms. I don't know what would be the best, if maybe use the scoop or just to try to grab it with a...
Do you think it's going to be very fragile? Do you think it's going to break away?
Might be.
You need these soldiers on this today?
What do you reckon? Do you want to... We could try with the gentleman if the one on the left.
Yeah.
Just to give it a poke and see how firm it is. I think if it looks like if they grabbed it from the left,
Yeah,
it
maybe.
would hold itself together.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Nicely done.
Yeah, very good.
So we could put that in BB4. Oh, sorry. We can put that in BB4C, C or D either, whichever was easier to reach.
Photo first.
Oh yeah, but we'll get some shots actually. Sorry. So we know what it is in the log. Or was.
Yeah.
Looks like a loofah now. Nice.
Oh yeah, here we go. There's a brittle star on top of it. There's some hydrozoans, some other sponges growing. Okay, we will try to analyze this.
It's a whole little habitat. Yeah, we could put that in BB4D, D or C, whichever's easier.
Where's the other one?
Good spot. That was an interesting one. Nice. while we're grounded, did you want to do the paper tip?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a good spot.
While
The
we're
back.
grounded, we'll do the back.
Okay.
But there is a live fish in the net.
Yeah.
just to mix things up. There's been some excellent fish captures on this dive.
Great.
One ice fish, without even skipping a beat, was just slurped up with the slurp gun as the ROV was moving along. And then quite a large rat tail, probably.
Okay, number one.
That's an interesting fish.
The fish, not very fish towards the back. So this we should be on the other side.
Yeah, and then a rather large rat tail was caught with the net, but it was so large we couldn't really put it in one of the boxes. And so now it's still just tangled up in the net. This one's interesting.
That's not.
Great shot.
You think this is a juvenile or it's the...
I'm really not sure. I don't recognise it. I'll see if I can figure it out from the shots. I don't think we're going to catch it. It's a great shot. So to try and hide itself, it's made its body as transparent as possible. And then there's certain organs you just can't make transparent. So what's gone on there is it's bunched all of its organs up into its body cavity and then made that mirrored.
Yeah.
And, oh, it looks like we got a few of them actually. They might be liking the lights.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to take a sack of sediment without losing our earlier fish.
So we are going to take now more sediment in order to look for the little worms that are living in the sediment, and sometimes also some mollusks or bivalves or other macrofauna organisms. Little snails or shells, you know.
Who folds the bags? They're beautifully folded when they're packed away.
Yes.
So you process these in a similar way to the cores, right? But this is all that top sediment, so it's all the good stuff.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get more biology in these.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes you just need a big dirty sack. All these fancy push cores.
With the push cores, we can assess the quantitative abundance, so how many of the organisms we have per square meter or per square decimeter. But sometimes there are not enough of them, and we want to have more of them for taxonomical studies to look out at the species that are living here, but also to make species descriptions for this we need sometimes it's better to have several specimens.
Let's bring it in, we analyze those.
There's a good question for the pilots in the chat. What's the lag like on the vehicle?
It's negligible.
Really? It's fiber optic, isn't it? So it's almost... Oh, that's cool. There you go. I barely noticed that.
The so-called umbilical, which is connecting the ROV with the vessel. And on the vessel we have a huge winch with a fiber optic cable, and this cable has also for transmitting the electricity, the power, but the information is transmitted.
It's incredibly difficult to push DC current down that level of cable, so you have to really drive a lot of volts at the top for it to reach the vehicle. And the fiber optic cable where all this data is coming from is probably, not much thicker than a hair. There are some ROVs who bypass the incredibly thick cable by having their own internal batteries, and then they just have fiber optic for data. And some of those, actually it's the same type of cable as used in torpedoes. Torpedoes are actually under control with this hair-like filament of fiber optic. So some ROVs use that as well. It's quite fragile. It's good when you're doing transects, but as soon as you start to move around, it can be a bit fragile. But yeah, that's a very, very different way of laying things out. This ROV has...
So this bag is
what's that?
almost full already, right? Is that enough?
I mean, looks good to me. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
good.
Excellent.
Excellent.
SuBastian has an umbilical with floats on it that pretty much comes straight up from the vehicle. Some vehicles have like a launcher, which is sort of a frame that holds the ROV, and it's sort of dropped down in this launcher vehicle, and then the ROV spools out from there laterally. And then there's a third vehicle that you've got to keep track of. This is already quite complicated with the vessel on the surface hundreds of meters above us getting distracted and having fun down here, and then there's icebergs up there as well that we've got to dodge for. I think that's Akito number 2.
Thank you.
Okay, you happy to carry on with the transect?
Another 1004 in the water, very nice ones. And lots of marine snow coming down.
I'm not seeing Teresa's holothurians on the sample log. Is there any record of those? Or have we still got to collect them? I thought they said they'd done them, but maybe I've misheard.
I heard that they have collected holothurians. So it seems that there are 3 holothurians on one of the suction samplers.
Oh, they slurped them. Okay. That's great. I don't see it on mine, but they did say that they'd already done that part, so
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure. I see she's got the push cores, so that usually means she got the holothurians.
Yeah. That's
Teresa's trying to figure out how selective these sea cucumbers are. So whether they're just grazers that slurp everything up, or if they're a bit picky and actually sift through their food. And that might not be true for all of them, it might be different for different species. In fact, it probably is. But to do that, she needs specimens that haven't pooped and the sediment to compare it to. Wow.
We could collect some stone if we find a good place to stop.
Okay. We've been asked to look out for a mysterious pale pink volcanic stone. I should have reacted to those ones quicker. They were nice and palm-sized rocks. Keep an eye out for more.
Drop stones here, and also again these little pebbles, gravels. There's a white sea urchin also at the bottom, leaving a trace. We have a couple of sea urchin species here, at least 3 that I have seen. Also some sea pigs.
Is the terrain safe to come down a little bit? Maybe about a meter elevation if possible.
There's a bit of a slope here.
It's a tricky one. I just know for the transects that I like it to be about a meter above the bottom. But the bottom keeps moving on us.
A lot of scallops. That's the scallop paradise here. Okay, what do we see here?
Is that worm eating something? Did you want to check it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, just this one on the left. Has it got a holothurian? Has it caught a sea cucumber?
It seems so.
You warned me there were predators.
Oh, the holothurian escaped. But, yeah, it's alive. Maybe it was just by coincidence that they were close together.
Oh, we spoilt that worm. It was sneaking up on it.
Oh, yes.
Spent the last 4 days sneaking up on that holothurian. I'll keep an eye out for a nice palm-sized rock.
think we could find some
This looks good hunting.
similar here. Yeah, good coral. Good shot.
Oh, so yeah, some of these
Yep.
large ones. Is this a tricky spot though? I know we're on the rise.
You see any big one?
Yeah, any of these sort of smaller palm-sized ones.
Okay.
Keep the geologist happy. I've not seen the elusive pink rock yet, but I never say no to a rock.
No. If we see this rock, we will of course stop and try to get it. But they are also happy with any other rock that we sample.
Mhm.
There's a question if the chat if there is infrared light working in the deep sea. Tom, you are the expert. Sorry.
You just fire it up. I've got infrared and far red light on my camera setup, but it's really absorbed quickly by the water. So it varies with the different pigments, like different oceans have slightly different optical properties, but usually it's a bluey green at about 450 nanometers that penetrates best in the water, and everything else gets absorbed really well, and that's why most bioluminescence and most animals produce that sort of bluey green light. Some of them are a bit sneaky and produce light that other animals can't see. But it doesn't penetrate the water so well. So infrared would probably, even with a real intense floodlight, would probably only illuminate about 30 centimeters if we were lucky. It just gets, that wavelength just gets absorbed by the water. Black light and ultraviolet should go a little bit further, and then you can do fun things because some things fluoresce.
So from the spectrum, at the red side is what is absorbed first. That's the reason why very clear waters tend to be more deep blue, which is the light that is still
If you can hold it. and-
going, crossing the water
Sure,
and
it's
coming
smaller than I thought.
up again so that we can see it. Oh, what was it?
That's a very small rock.
Yeah, it's better we get a bigger one.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I got the
So-
perspective wrong. About the 10 centimeter mark is the good one. I should have used the lasers.
Okay.
Unless you can see one within arm reach right now. I think those are bedrock. Ooh. No.
Alright.
Sorry about that. My bad. So according to the map, we've still got a little way to climb before we reach the apex of this ridge. So this might just be a trellis area. We might get some more bedrock a bit further on.
Okay, we may continue the transect and stop again if we find a good place for rocks.
That's a big one.
That's too big.
Yeah, we won't take that one. Oh, that's, yeah. Wow, look at this ridge. Yeah, that one looks good. I'll hold it up so we can get it in the log entry.
It's not loose.
Oh, right.
The whole are
false
removed.
rock.
Yeah.
I don't think we're short on options.
Okay.
Something very white and delicate under this rock face. Is that a bryozoan?
It seems like a bryozoan.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, a big one.
Like a lovely doily.
Okay.
Might be bigger than it looks.
Oh.
Too big?
I think
No,
that might.
not for us, but
Oh, yeah?
can
You-
we transport it with the ROV or it
Yeah.
is too big?
Yeah, but once we have our rock box, that's it.
Yeah, but it. Yeah. You log it with the picture.
Yeah. Picture.
We got some free biology as well.
Yes.
And the rock saw did come out today, so they can handle larger rocks. Is the room in the one that has the scoop?
Yeah.
Oh, that's spot on. Great. Well, I hope they're happy with their rock. Well done. That was our to-do list for this station. And we can continue with the transect.
Perfect.
Anyone just joining us on the stream, we are probably going to be the last shift on this dive, but we've still got a good hour and a half left to go. We've done all of our collecting jobs, or at least the major ones. Still on the to-do list is a water sample from a rocky habitat, and to keep an eye out for a pink volcanic rock we saw on some of the other sites and got quite excited about. Other than that, we're just going to transect between the waypoints with our lasers on and see if we can get a sort of quantitative assessment of the animals down here. So with our scale lasers on and known ROV speed, we can work out the density of these animals that we're seeing. And that's sort of always going on in the background, really. We're going to process all of this video data after the cruise and work out the density and the diversity of all these animals. So that's what we do between stations.
Very nice sea pigs. And also very common are these ribbon worms that are
they're everywhere here.
very long, large. I can imagine something like maybe 40-50 centimeters long.
And are they sort of the apex predators? They're the only, other than the fish, they're the only predator we're regularly seeing.
It looks to me, yes.
What?
Oh, sorry, just chatting. Something coming in on the horizon. Have a little look at these patterns. I think it's maybe an iceberg's made contact here. We on the top? We're close to. Just the sediment seems to tell a story. Something made impact here.
Yeah.
Could be a diving whale, but I don't think so. We did a paper once about these unusual depressions in the Indian Ocean, and they turned out, or at least we think they are, feeding traces from beaked whales. They're the deepest diving whale. They're quite a shy, quiet whale, but it's theorized that they regularly go down to abyssal depths, so regularly more than 3,000 meters deep to forage, and may even be able to go higher. Engineering analysis of their skulls indicate that they might be able to go as deep as 5,000 meters, but whether that would be worth the effort, I don't know. but they do make this huge effort to dive down over 3,000 meters, and then they've got this long sort of beak, really, that gives them their name, and they seem to root around in the sediment at the bottom. So I don't know what they're finding. It must be very nutritious to be worth that amount of effort. And they leave these interesting chains of depressions in the deep sea mud.
Here they had scallops, for instance.
You think that they might eat the scallops?
There was a paper, I think last year or 2 years ago, so from the North Sea, that they observed this from the harbor purpose, also so very small whale that we have there. So they were recording some structures at the sediment bottom, some scores, and they could prove that they were done by the whales actually.
Oh wow, how deep were they diving?
This was not very big, deep. I think it was about 100 meters. 50, 60, 100, something like that.
Impressive feat for
Yeah.
quite a small cetacean. I think there's an ice fish emerging from the gloom. Yeah, Chenichthidae. We can see this one. It's got long stirrup-like pelvic fins, and it's propping itself way up.
Yeah.
A bit like a tripod fish, but it doesn't have the third one. So I'm nominating that we start calling these bipod fish.
Bipod fish.
Yeah.
Still stable.
Yeah.
Because it's not touching the bottom with
It is
with the caudal fin, or it is?
just a little bit. It usually keeps the caudal fin up, but yeah, those huge stilt-like pelvic fins just raise it up, and they're same as the tripod fish. They're sort of predators. They're lifting themselves up a little bit off the bottom, and that allows them to intercept prey. Very cool fish. So those are the ice fish, the ones famous for having no pigment in their blood, so their blood is clear and their gills are white. It doesn't seem to hold them back though, at least not in this environment. So I think the cold might actually benefit them, but interesting antifreezes in their blood, and then their blood is non-pigmented. Very, very cool fish. A couple of years back, a friend of mine actually, Autumn Purser, found a huge nesting area for that family of fish. We didn't know they did that really. Just found loads of depressions in the seafloor here in Antarctica, and these fish nesting in them. And some of the depressions were sort of multiple years old. Seemed to be the males with some gravelly sediment looking after the eggs. And they seem to make nests in a slightly different spot each year. So it seems that rather than a location that they're looking for, it's a certain mixture of conditions. And so it's slightly different each year depending on what the currents are doing and the temperature.
Now we see a very nice sea star, the white one, a big sponge. We continue climbing up the hill.
More sea pigs in quite a slope. I think the sediment has built up over a very, very long time, and it's quite cohesive. It's quite sort of cakey and clayey when we do dig into it. I think that's what's holding it onto these slopes. Cleaner and looser sediment would have rolled down these steep slopes, but this seems quite cohesive. Speed and altitude spot on, thank you. Whoever ends up staring at all this is thanking us.
So now we see who is leaving this line trace, this straight line with these other ribbon worms.
Feels like the sediment's changed.
Yeah.
We've lost that coarser material. It's all fine sediment here. We might be coming up to the apex of this ridge.
Quite a lot of bottom structure here. It's not like a flat area, but we have a lot of little hills and little valleys. And rocks, outcrops.
Nice, we're power sliding around around the outcrop. Nice. Little notothenoid fish there. Onto the waypoint. I think that might have been the summit. I think we're heading down again. Looks like there's another very large glass sponge in the horizon. We've got some chambers free in the slurp gun if they wanted us to hoover up inside. Could we take a look down into the sponge? And there's another rock wall in the distance. Either that or those rocks are floating. That's really steep.
Yeah.
So a large sponge like this, especially one that's probably been in here for a very long time, it's a great habitat in itself. So when you look down into them, quite often we'll see some shrimp, some amphipods and some isopods. And you can stick the slurp gun in there and snuffle them all up. Similar to driving in fog, sometimes you can adjust where your illumination is coming from to get a bit of a clearer view. If there's particles in the water, you don't want to light the same path as your camera. So exactly like fog lights on your car. can already see quite a large shrimp along the side.
You can put in now and then.
Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know we had a camera on the arm.
Yeah, that's one.
Are there shrimps at the bottom, this reddish one?
Yes, I think so.
Maybe we could try to slurp them.
Has anyone shown an interest in the decapods? I mean, they're all interesting.
Well, yes, we are collecting also for the museum in Santiago de Chile for the collections, and
Oh, great.
of course it's always interesting to have additional material.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anyone home inside, but there are some large shrimp around the outside. Do you want to try and slurp them up together, get them all in one chamber?
Yeah, we can try. I mean, shrimps, they are quite quick, so it may be that they escape immediately, but they seems to be quite quiet at the bottom.
Yeah, let's give it a try.
The shrimps underneath. We can try to solve that.
Looks like they're living under it rather than in it. Didn't know we had a camera on that arm, that's great.
What jar you wanted in?
1 to 3 are free, so
I'm on 3 right now. So
okay. Yeah, let's leave it on 3. Slurp gun is a bit of an undersea hoover, but it empties into a revolver style chamber, really, a revolving chamber. So we can use it multiple times and just rotate this chamber around. There's, let's see, 8 in total, so we can take 8 separate samples with the slurp gun. And for fragile or quick things, it's pretty good. And these shrimp probably have terrible eyesight, but they have long antennae. And if anything touches them, they'll do a fast start, they'll do a tail flick and reverse backwards very quickly.
Yeah, there's one coming.
There's one
from
on the side of the sponge as well.
Maybe we can try this
that
first.
one on top.
Yeah,
Whichever's easier,
Point
yeah.
it
It seems to be right there. That's that. That tail flip, very quick.
We knew that it would not be easy. Now they are alerted.
Oof.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll move around.
That one's come around the surface of the sponge again. If you can get behind them, they can't dart quite as easily. Is he just doing laps?
Yes.
Alright, we'll move around. Take down right.
I was hoping to visit the Natural History Museum in Santiago on this trip, but unfortunately my travel plans didn't work out. But I've got a fish in there. There's a fish I named from the Atacama Trench, and it was our team that caught it. But it's Chile's fish, so we gave it back to Chile once we'd described it. It's a little 9 centimetre long snailfish, but it was from 7,500 meters deep, so
Wow.
it's only a little fish, but it was a very good fish. There's a lot of species that are only found in the Atacama or the Peru-Chile Trench.
We'll move around.
There's a question in the chat about the oxygen concentration in the water here. We have not seen a lot of variation, so we have this indication in the screen that you can also see. And the different areas that we have visited, they are all very well oxygenated waters without a lot of variation. We have not found also in the sediments any sign of low oxygen. So it's quite constant.
I'm still not over that with the sediment. It's even in like really well oxygenated places, like there's so much food raining down here.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's not anoxic.
Here we go. I think it is in. Let's see.
Is it just in the entrance?
Or it escaped.
No, next one.
Here we go.
And that one's at my Sid. It's much smaller than it looks. We'll have it too, though.
Yes.
They don't want to give up their sponge, do they?
Oh, no, not yet.
They usually a shrimp would flee quite a way, but they don't want to lose contact with their home. I wonder if they stray too far, if they struggle to find it again. If of course emptying loads of light into the water, but it's not usually like this.
Oh, the other
One
cup.
front right there.
Come in defense. And now a fish is coming. There was one in the, or it escaped by the end, saw it. The first one.
I think that one escaped.
Okay. Yeah, maybe tricky to get them there quite quick.
They are, but they will not give up their sponge. They're not fleeing.
No, no.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, we can move on. I think the
yeah,
shrimps
they're
there.
notoriously hard to catch.
Yeah.
Their eyesight's terrible, but anything touches those antennae and they're huge.
And they sense also the current with the antenna. So they feel that there's something approaching or something changing the current speed of the water. So they make this escape reaction. You see?
He looks smug. Oh, off the backboard.
Okay, let's move.
Alright.
Yeah.
The DP will close. The DP will be connected.
I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
That was not.
Oh, it was a mycid, wasn't
Something else.
it? Yeah.
Something else.
I think I'm not sure the filter will get that. I think it's gone straight through.
Yeah, we lost it.
You're not giving up.
I give up, right? Yeah.
Do you think you got it?
I think we got one.
Maybe we got one.
Yes. Well done. You weren't going to give up on that, were you? Well done.
Alright, 3.
So the slurp gun, our undersea vacuum cleaner, it passes through a revolver with 8 chambers in it, and you might have heard us just say then that was in number 3. So we can rotate that now onto a clear chamber, and we can take up to 8 samples with the with the slope gun. So it's not a one-hit thing. We can store them on board here, up to 8 different specimens for when we get to the surface. Excellent fishing. Well
Very
done.
good.
If we hang around for too long, these silvery fish start ganging up on us. The Antarctic Jonas fish. It's a little type of barracuda, and they do not seem to be afraid of the ROV at all. And I think I'm up to 6 of them now that have caught themselves in the ROV. They just end up stuck in the tool tray or in the frame of the ROV, so I've got a load of them now. And they sampled themselves. Oh, can we zoom in on that fish? That's a nice one. That's unusual coloration for around here. Very unusual for them to be iridescent like that. Oh, that's great, thank you. The homeless shrimp hasn't found a sponge yet. Still rising. We'll be close to the top soon. So we've come up to 589 meters. I think most of the dive yesterday was just over 1,200, up to about 700. And a few folk were excited to go a little bit shallower on this present dive. Looking a bit more gravelly here.
Yes.
And I don't think this is us. I think the water column really is this laden here.
Yeah, it is.
Would you like to take anything here with another sack? So it feels a bit different.
Do we have any other?
I think we still have 2,
Okay.
if I'm reading this right. What does it look like on your log? I think we've only taken number 2.
Back to...
This is really dense.
Do we have an indication when we should stop the dive?
We're not too deep, and I think we're scheduled to be on the surface 6:30. Oh right, yeah, maybe I should be thinking about that.
Maybe we continue at the last waypoint we take the back. There's some sponges at the bottom, sea urchins,
Bipod fish. I'm gonna make that name stick.
bipod fish, very nice.
Oh, they're great. Chinookthid, the ice fish. There's 2 main groups of these. There's some with these big stilt-like pelvic fins, and there's some with little fluffy rounded pelvic fins. I've seen them a few times, but it's lovely to see them sort of in their habitat alive. I work in a museum, so most of those things I see are museum specimens. indicated to you guys what time we should leave the bottle?
Oh, we did put it in there, so we got
This says 6.
So, off bottom, like 5:30.
Off bottom at 5:30. Okay, so we've probably only got 10 more minutes.
15.
15.
So we are streaming simultaneously in parallel on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And if there are some questions from you, from the audience, we are happy to
A lot
answer.
of material in the water. Is it? But it's natural. It's,
Yeah.
we haven't
it's
stirred it up.
slow. Yeah, it's fine.
We are getting
I
now
mean, if it's not
to the end of the
don't close
dive.
it.
Maybe
I mean,
10,
this is the
20
same
more
one
minutes.
that we had before.
Yeah, the sandy with a bit of bedrock.
Yeah, so.
We didn't really get a wall again. We got sort of hummocky.
Because it's coming up at 6 or 6:30.
We've probably got about 15 more minutes.
Okay, let's wait 15 more minutes, otherwise I have 4 bottles for the Schmidt.
Okay. Would you still like one right at the end, or only if it's a change of
If
habitat?
there is a change of otherwise.
Wow. That is a real drop. The sediment is so sticky. I can't believe that's not rolling down there. Pretty sure this is our apex now. Heading down the other side. Is there any last things you wanted to get? Another second to?
Yeah, we can try to get it back. And what about the Niskin bottle?
Anna said the habitat's about the same as what they've already got.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've probably got time if you just want to take a ciggy too.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
We just stop and take it back here.
Do it again.
Yeah, as our like final thing.
Okay.
We didn't find the white stone, the white rock.
Oh, we didn't get the pink rock. I think they already got one, but it made the geologists very excited because it's volcanic origin apparently. So much material raining down here. Slime and malts and poop. And that's what's feeding this whole community.
There is a question in the chat if we are studying the marine snow. Actually, we are not collecting this marine snow. We are focusing here this expedition on the animals that are living at the bottom and not taking plankton or water samples for marine snow. We are taking the water samples for the geochemistry, for the chemistry of the water.
There's some eDNA work too, which will reveal some of the marine snow. But it's usually quite degraded by the time it makes it down here. You see the odd recognizable bit, but it's hard to ID the animal origins. But we are taking the sediment samples, so we'll see it as a nutrition source, as a food source for this environment.
scientific term measuring the amount of material coming down from the water column to the seabed is the particulate organic carbon flux. So the POC flux, it is what we talk about, the POC flux, and what we mean is this marine snow that is coming from the surface and bringing the energy to the bottom.
It was a theory for a long time and quite a controversial one, but there's a reverse, isn't there? It's the reason we call it a flux is that sometimes material rises from the deep sea as well. It's not so common, but it does go the other way as well.
And of course we have what is called lateral transport, and I think that this is what we have here also. For the people that recently came to visit us here, we are collecting in an area that was covered by sea ice for thousands and thousands of years, and only recently, a couple of weeks ago, it got free of ice. And just by chance we were here. We didn't know that this ice will break out. And we were actually expecting much less life at the bottom, because we were thinking that there is no primary production if the ocean surface is covered by ice. No light can penetrate, or very little light can penetrate. So we were expecting that there will be much less life at the bottom, but there is quite a lot. So we think that this is what we call lateral transport by currents from other neighboring areas. The primary production is coming under the ice and bringing energy to this system.
We thought it would be impoverished, like less than we see in other areas which are uncovered, but you can see where we've scooped this sack that it's really, really enriched. There's a real thick layer of detritus and sort of nutrient-rich sediment at the top. So this community is doing pretty well.
We have a lot of scallops in this area at the bottom. We see also the shells. Some of the shells are a little bit reddish.
This incredibly fine sediment and low current speed means that it lingers in the water for a little while. So we're just waiting for it to clear a bit so we can see how we've done for this collector if we need to do another scoop. And we need to see what we're doing to put it away.
In the few weeks that this area is ice-free, for sure that there have been some phytoplankton growing at the surface. We call phytoplankton bloom when it is really very suddenly in a couple of days or weeks, and there's a lot of production of phytoplankton. But the animals that we find at the bottom, they are probably older than, they're probably several years old. The sponges, the scallops, the sea stars. So there has not been enough time for them to benefit from potential phytoplankton bloom that may have happened last week, let's say. But of course, when the area is ice-free, they will get much more particles from the, much more marine snow, much more energy from the surface, and this is actually what we are trying to figure out, what will be the consequences of removing the ice. Therefore, we will in the next days also collect in some areas here nearby that they were free of ice for at least 10 to 20 years in order to make a comparison.
No, full enough, right?
We had a good look at it.
Where is this going?
Just if it's full enough, it looked about half full.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you happy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Throw something at me. I'm looking at the wrong number. So is that bag three?
There is a question in the chat if time-lapse cameras will help us to understand the dynamics of the system. I love time-lapse cameras. They really provide a lot of information.
Yeah, I think that's.
The only problem here will be that we don't know when we are coming back. If we are coming back. This is a very remote place. Time-lapse camera here is not, will take 1 year to come back,
Yeah.
but we don't have access to vessels every year. So it may be that the camera will stay here for several years, and this is also not very useful.
ROV off seabed.
So we are finishing the dive.
Thanks to everyone who joined us for this dive. It's nice. We can see the chat and we answer questions when we can. It's nice to know you're all along here with us. So we're leaving the bottom. We're going to take some water samples on the way in the water column, but we'll probably finish the feed for that.
Maybe a last comment about this time-lapse camera. Here in Antarctica, there are very strict regulations, so we will need to ask for permits if we are going to put something at the seabed and leave it there. So we are actually not allowed to leave anything at the seabed. So we are now finishing the dive, and the ROV is diving up. Thank you, everybody, for being here and being interested in our research. And we thank also the ROV pilots at the amazing helping us to get our samples.
Is that a little squid? cone jellies.